Hi, Liam Ward here at LearnTheHarmonica.com. Today we're looking at Off the Wall by Little Walter. So today it's Off the Wall by Little Walter, and just like Duke, Little Walter's most famous tune, this is a harmonica instrumental, and there's loads of cool stuff in it. For today's lesson you need a C harmonica, and we're going to look at the first verse of this tune. The rest of the song is available as a premium lesson through the link below the video. For a great backing track for this, a really authentic one, just Google slow blues harp tracks. That's slow blues as one word without the W in the middle. So S-L-O and then blues harp tracks. They're really, really cool. I'm not being sponsored by them or anything. I just bought a load of tracks from them. They do a lot of the blues harmonica standard tunes, and Off the Wall is one of the ones they offer. So if you want a really authentic backing track for this specific song, check that out, because that's the one that I've been using to learn and to practice this. So let's get straight on with the first verse. Now the first line goes something like this. Okay, so you can see the tab on your screen, and you'll see that we're rising up the harmonica from hold 2 to hold 5. So it goes 2, 3, 4, 5. Draw, and then it's 5 blow, and then 4 draw again, and we'll talk about the bit in brackets in a minute. So and this comes in after the third beat, so we've got 1, 2, 3, ba da da da, ba da, 2, 3. Okay. Now this is a repeated theme. There's variations of this throughout, and I want you to take this line with a pinch of salt, if you like. Now, what I mean by that is sometimes he will play that 2 draw at the start, sometimes he won't. Sometimes he'll bend the 3 draw a little bit, sometimes he won't. But generally, it's about moving from that 2 upwards to that 5 draw. Okay, so that's the kind of area we're at. A bit like with Duke, if you're familiar with Duke, the opening riff is one of those things that's been a point of contention for a long time among harmonica players. Does he play this note? Does he play that note? I'd like you to have the freedom to play with this, and you'll see as we go through this verse that there's several versions of it. But I've got that as 2, 3, 4, 5 draw. The 3 dots after the 5 draw just mean we hold that for 3 beats. So da da da, 1, 2, 3, ba da. So it's just held for that length of time. The bit in brackets, right at the end of the line, the arrow and then the 2 draw. What I'm telling you there is he does almost a subtle little slide back down to the 2, but it's so quiet that I'm counting it as a grace note or just a kind of a subtle little addition that you don't necessarily have to do, but you might want to. So you can almost hear it, but you don't quite hear it, so it's not a really obvious in your face kind of thing, just a subtle thing. So when I put something in brackets in my tab, that just means it's one of those, a kind of optional or very subtle things that you don't want to make too much out of. And again, that's something that is sometimes played and is sometimes not played in the recording itself, and you can imagine him doing it live, and I'm sure he would vary that anyway. So that's something that you can choose to put in or not put in as you choose. So line B of this first verse, we've got basically the same thing. Now, I don't really hear the 2 draw as much in this line. So again, I've put that in brackets at the start. But apart from that, it's essentially the same line. So the start of the tune, we've got 1, 2, 3. Okay, so basically the same verse. So that idea of repetition, so that it kind of makes something stick in your head. So these great players, they didn't always play a different thing for every line. One of the great things they actually did was repeat what they did. Play something you like and then play it again. And it really sticks in the listener's head. So the next line is where the chord change comes in. Now this is a typical 12-bar blues chord progression. So we'd be going on to the 5th bar of that progression, which would be the 4 chord. So this is a G blues on a C harmonica, but a G blues. And so we'd be going to the C chord at this point. Don't worry if that doesn't make sense to you. You can still follow the tab, but I thought I'd just mention that. So that's where we are. So the notes that we're going to play are going to fit that chord. So those notes are 3-draw full step bend, and then 3-draw semitone bend, and then a 3-blow, a 3-draw full step bend, and a 2-draw. You'll notice the 3-blow is in brackets. Again, it's a very subtle note. I think of it as just a very quick out breath. So. And I try and whisper it as much as possible, because when I've listened to this recording, I can hear it, I think, but it's not. You don't spend too much time and too much breath on it. It's a very, very quick thing. So 1, 2, 3. So if you add that to the previous 2 lines, we'd have 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool.